All right. I wanted to make a quick video about Boolean search statements and Boolean searching. Um, this is probably one of the more difficult things for students, especially in an online class where you're relying on just whatever learning materials are available. And I apologize for not making a video sooner about this. But as I was grading the Module 3 assignment, I noticed a lot of students were making a lot of the same mistakes. So I wanted to go through and just kind of demonstrate the process for you. All right, so when we're talking about a search statement is a combination of keywords and Boolean operators. It's like a math formula, if you want to think about it that way. It's keyword A and keyword B and keyword C, or keyword A. Anyway, I'll demonstrate all this. But what we need to do is we need to start with this question. All right, so I have the question: how might emotional responses to information influence? This should be B. I'm sorry about that. How might emotional responses to information influence the ability to think critically among college students? So what this question is really asking is, when students encounter information, if they have an emotional response to it, does that affect their ability to think critically about it? Okay, so we have these certain elements in this. We have our population, that's college students. So let's go ahead and let's highlight this here. Okay, so we have college students. And then the emotional response to information. Okay? This is the variable. This is the thing that's happening to the college students. And then our outcome is this assumption that it's going to have some kind of effect on how they are able to think critically. And so we have to kind of think about, we have critical thinking, we have emotion, we have college students. And so now we need to break this down into some keywords here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. All right, so now let's start stripping things away. So let's get rid of everything that isn't highlighted here, first of all. Okay. So now I'm breaking it down. Okay, so now let's break this down into like discrete units. Okay, so college students, that's its own thing. Now, since this is a key phrase, we want college students. Let's put some quotations around that. Now, the ability to think critically is implied in the concept of critical thinking. So let's get rid of ability here. Think critically. Let's just call it what it is: critical thinking. Okay, I hope this makes sense as I'm going through it too. So now critical thinking is its own unit here. Okay, so now we have two key phrases so far. Now, emotional response, some kind of response is implied in this. So we're going to start out as simple as we can get it here. So we're going to strip this all the way down to emotion. Because if you're talking about emotion is something that happens. So we don't need emotional response. We're just doing emotion. So now we have emotion, information, critical thinking, and college students. So now we have these things. Let's put them into some kind of search statement. Now remember, our Boolean operators are and, or, not. Okay. Now, not wasn't specified in the assignment, but I will show you how to use it. Okay. So we have emotion and information. Okay, so it's two of our keywords. And critical thinking. All right. And college students. All right. So this is our first search statement. Let's give it a shot. All right. So I'm going to pick a database. Now, college students and critical thinking and information, this falls squarely within my discipline and librarianship. So I'm going to try to find a database about libraries. All right. All right, let's go to the Library and Information Science abstracts. So this is a list of, this is a database that I use all the time. So I'm just going to put my search statement in there. We're going to give it a shot and see where it goes. All right, so I got 0 results. Now, why did I get 0 results? I don't know. Let's try a different database. Well, actually, let's strip this down even more. Okay. Let's take this all the way down to just emotion and critical thinking. This is really the core of what we're doing. Okay. This is a suggested search, emotions and critical thinking. Sure, let's do that. All right, so now we have 14 results. Now, what I'm thinking here is we have one that's a newspaper, information literacy, and epidemic. So it's okay. Emotion, the feeling, and feeling beat critical thinking. This is a Wall Street Journal newspaper article. So I'm not really getting the results I want, which means that maybe there's a better place to search. Okay, so I didn't plan any of this ahead of time. I'm just doing this on the fly. So I wanted to give you an authentic experience. So let's go here. Okay, well, let me show you what I do. So this is an EBSCO database here. So now I've gone back to my original one, kind of by accident, but that's all right. Okay, if you go and click on this, it says searching. If you're in this view here, so let's pick education. All right, education full text. Eric is also an education database. Let's bring in a psychology database too. So here we go. Now we're searching multiple databases all at the same time. Okay, 12. All right. Okay, this one might be relevant. Now, we're not really going to talk about the relevance of the results. I just wanted to show you the process. Okay, so, okay, the need for cognition and critical thinking skills and depressive symptoms in college students. All right. This isn't really getting at what we want, which is what we really want is what happens when someone encounters information. Now, this is actually a research project I'm doing right now, and it's proven to be a little bit difficult. But anyway, that's when we're talking about breaking this down. All right, so now let's add in some synonyms. Now I know, so I'm going to expand my search statement here. So this didn't really yield us like a whole lot of results. Okay, so now I need some synonyms. Now synonyms are just the same concept said a different way. So let's turn this up. Okay. So what's another way of thinking of emotion? Now I know in psychology, affect is a thing, so or affect, but I also know that the word spelled the same way, affect is different than affect, which I'm going to say affective. And I know that psychologists and stuff use this word affective to mean emotion. So now I have 2 ways of looking at emotion. Okay, information. Now I might specify like I might add like a more specific type of information. Let's just say kind of at the root of it, I'm really thinking about social media. So I'm just going to throw in social media because if you say social media, that implies that they're encountering some form of information. Information actually might be too general of a term. All right. So now critical thinking, let's just say or reasoning, because reasoning is another way of thinking about this. Okay. And then college students, let's do college or university. Okay. And we want students. Okay. We don't need, I mean, no one's going to be using the word pupils or anything like that. I guess we could say students. We could also say young adults if we want the age group, but we're talking about college students. Actually, let's throw that in there. Okay, let's do students. Um, all right. You see how my mind is working on this? I'm thinking through this. I think what's going to be the most likely thing. So let's keep college student as a unit. Okay. Or let's say young adults. All right. So now we have this search statement. Now, this is a much longer search statement, but you notice that it's not super long. Now, if you end up with a super long search statement that has tons and tons and tons and tons of things, remember that these, even if you're putting in these ors, and is still in effect. So basically, um, when this gets into uh, the database is taking it, starting at the beginning, and it's working its way through. So the first thing that it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, do I have any documents or any records that have emotion or affective in them? Okay, so that's the first thing it does. That's why you need the parentheses. If you don't have the parentheses, let's take these away. Now, this was a mistake a lot of students make. It can say anything with emotion or anything that follows. Okay, so it's looking for documents that only documents with emotion, which is going to like be probably millions, or everything else. But by putting parentheses around it, you tell the database, this is what I want. Now, this is a little bit old school. It's a little bit technical. It's a little bit formulaic. Not all databases require this, but it's good to be able to think in these terms. All right, so this is my first thing. The database is saying, okay, emotion or reason. But since it's in parentheses, it's like, okay, I'm waiting. And information or social media and critical thinking, etc. So what it's doing is it will do any combination. So like emotion and information and critical thinking in college students, emotion and social media and reasoning and young adult, affective and you see where I'm going with this. Okay, so now we have this search statement. It's got all of our keywords plus some synonyms, and even though sometimes some of the synonyms don't exactly line up, we still have plenty to work with here. Okay, 45. Now this isn't actually it's not bad that we have this few results. It actually makes it a lot easier. Okay, so again, I'm not going to go through these, but I just wanted to show you that process. This is as far as I'm going to take it. As you're doing your searching, you're going to continue to do searching for the rest of this class on module 4 and module 5. You're going to be finding different things. I won't be looking at your search statements necessarily, but if you can get this figured out and get this down, your searches are going to more than likely be a lot more successful. So it's all about good keywords and getting them in the right order. And yeah, thanks for watching the video. I hope it helps.